Good afternoon, students. Sayed sir here. We'll wait for 5 minutes by the time other students are joining, and we'll begin our session shortly. We advise all the students to keep your mic on mute mode and video off so that we can effectively use the bandwidth. So have patience for next 3 to 4 minutes. We are admitting all the students and then we'll begin. Hello students, myself Professor Suhail Sayyed, Dean Training and Placement of Anna Sahib Dange College of Engineering and Technology, ASTA, would like to welcome you all for today's webinar. I would welcome our guest today and I would request SV Nishantar sir to please introduce our guest to the target audience. Over to you, Nishantar sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Very good afternoon and warm welcome to everyone attending this session. Today we have arranged a session titled Expectation of Global Industry from Engineers. I hope everyone is well connected with this session. The world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having some of them today with us to build this event. With immense gratitude on behalf of ADCT, I would like to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest and today's speaker, Mr. Ajay Singh Chauhan sir. Let me introduce first. He is currently working as a deputy manager in Whirlpool Corporation. Presently, he is involved as a commodity analyst in global strategic sourcing, responsible for cooling commodity. He has a very good experience of working on a critical assignments in a projects category among different locations in regional and global environment. Besides this, he has also worked as a cooling engineer in research and development department. He has achieved so much in very little span of a time. We really appreciate you, sir. I would like to highlight an ironic fact that Ajay sir is an ex-student of ADCT 2015 batch from mechanical. So he is no less than our family member to us. I am sure he must be delighted to deliver his views before his juniors. I also would like to welcome our respected TPU Mr. Sohail Sayed sir, HOD Dr. L.Y. Wagmode sir, and all my team TPC, and last and other dignitaries who are attending this session. And last but not least, let me welcome all our dear energized students who were very curiously waiting for this session. It is very astonishing and elating for us to have you all digitally connected. We appreciate your presence and your responsiveness. It is very truly said, knowledge is never confined in boundaries. It can be obtained whenever and wherever you desire. Today, neither we are in class nor in auditorium. We are just handling our phones to gain knowledge. Truly, it won't be humorous if I say that coronavirus taught us the proper utilization of our mobile phone for grasping knowledge and gaining development. I hope you all will carefully listen, Ajay sir, and sincerely note down points in your books. We are just ready to start with our session. I request our chief guest, Mr. Ajay sir, to deliver his lecture. Ajay sir.
Thank you very much, Nishandar sir. And I hope my voice is audible to all you guys and respected teachers over here.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm really glad that to hear from you that you are conducting such a kind of events where you are inviting some of people like us who know not everything but at least something about the industry where our students wants to go ahead in the future and where they want to be a professional for which can deliver something to the society and ourselves. Okay, so second aspect is you rightly said coronavirus taught us how to use our mobile, and I think coronavirus taught us some of the key intols which can help us to understand how to live within the boundaries, how to keep our patience, and how to keep our curiosity alive throughout the life. And that is what I think is very good learning. It's a positive side of the coin, you could say, we can take out from this corona pandemic. Now I'm going and switching directly towards the my slides which I'll be presenting to you. Give me a moment, I'll share my screen. Okay, so just notify someone if they can see my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible, sir. Visible, audible, sir. Go ahead.
Perfect. Perfect. So, just as rightly mentioned by Nishanda sir, that I'm ex ADCET student, and I'm really delightful to say over here that I had a good connect, and I'm having a good connect with ADCET. Fortunate, unfortunate, because of the time constraint, I did not get time to get over there in the college since last 2 years. But I'm in touch with our very honorable professors, teachers, and some of the students and alumni which passed out from ADCET and pursuing their career, brightening their future in the society, and making ADCET proud. And I know there are multiple chains and webinars and seminars happen in the past and has been planned for future 3-4 days more, where you would get to know how or what contribution ADCET gave to the society and the corporate world. Not stretching the words and exaggerating it, I'll just start with my experience with the Anna Sahib Dange Mechanical Engineering, where I have completed in 2015, and how that helped us. Like this slide, you will not find much into it, but I'll just uh, tell you these are organizations where I have enjoyed my tenure as a student, as a engineer, as a trainee engineer, as an intern, as a professional designer, R&D engineer, and as a cooling commodity analyst. So go each and every tenure and I'll explain what I learned over there. So when I was having discussions with Nishander and Abhijit yesterday or day before yesterday, I was been bit confusion that what to present you so that you can easily connect to me. And this point came up, kind of case study can help us, and this is a personal case study. I'm again reinforcing, I'm not one who reached up to the level where I can give you a knowledge of life, but I'm here where I can share my experience of my last 4 or 5 years. Now, I'll start with ADCT experience. You can see here I have clearly written foundation to fight. That is what exactly I learned from ADCT. Okay, when I was learning mechanical engineering, I I really should admit that I got to learn by myself because of my curiosity, because of expertise of the teachers and our seniors, that how to connect with the books, how to connect with the concepts, how to love your field, how to love your thought process. That is actual foundation what we have to build inside us, which will stay with you forever, which will keep you a child in the learning front throughout your life and give you a growth in corporate and your future personal lives. And it's clearly mentioned which is foundation to fight. That means foundation to learn, foundation of thought process. That is what Anna Sahib Dange College gave me, and I really thankful, and I cannot be enough thankful to them who gave me that caliber, that thought process, that void inside me which can help me to keep grasping the things, keep accepting the things, and keep curiosity alive inside me working as a professional. Okay, now I'm going towards the next section of my life, or next inning of my life, where I went through the Tetra Pak as a purchase engineer over there. And I'll talk in the future how and what I realized in Tetra Pak that I did not understand when I was in a college. Yes, I have been told multiple times by our seniors, our teachers, our HODs, and our management that you have to be very much vocal to understand the relation between practical and theoretical knowledge. And that is what I missed out for 4 years. But when I entered inside the Tetra Pak, I realized what industry is. Industry don't want you to be a bookish person who can just read, who can just write whatever he memorized throughout the year or one night before the exam and take out the marks. Marks is there to just a show indicator to enter inside the hall where you will be getting examined. But your actual examination inside the interview, inside the corporate, is tenure what you will be served. And tenure, what will be serving means the 10, 15 and half an hour interview where senior in front of you or interviewer in front of you going to ask you multiple questions. And he definitely gonna screw you in a way that he will understand your potential. And what can help you to prove yourself there is your ability to correlate theoretical and practical knowledge. And in the Tetra Pak, what I have missed in last 4 years in my college, I realized I tried to understand theoretical and practical knowledge interlink and keep learning. That was not a long tenure; it was a very short, close to 6, 7 months tenure. I served in the Tetra Pak, and I had a very strong eager inside me that I should perceive something which is connected to the technology research and development. And as a next move, I went towards the Whirlpool, which is a refrigerator manufacturing company in India, which is US based company. I joined as a trainee engineer over there in a cooling subsystem design. I used to deal with condenser, compressor, evaporator, expansion valves, heat exchangers, and basically the seal system, thermodynamic air conditioning system, which is inside the refrigerator or domestic refrigerator which you are using day to day basis. Where I had some knowledge, book knowledge, which I learned in engineering, I again get back to the book. When I was working in Whirlpool, I correlated that knowledge of a book with practical implications inside the product, and it was a miracle for me. Like, I started visualizing the things. I started visualizing evaporation. I started visualizing condensation. I started visualizing the efficiency of a compressor and seal system. I started literally, I have started visualizing the Carnot, reversible Carnot cycle, what we always talk about when refrigeration and thermodynamics comes to the picture. Next step to that, in the same role, I got a opportunity to work inside the project management for cost and quality innovations. So initial 3, 4, 5 months, I was completely blind. I did not know how I can fight with the world, because I was in the environment where most of the IITians, NITians, COP, and most of the college students, which has well reputed college, we for say per se, and that was a challenging for me. But after 3 months, I got a mentor. I should mention his name over here, who is Ajaj Ahmed, helped me to realize that everybody has a potential and you have to pursue it. Just give a focus, give an interest, enjoy what you are doing. You will learn and beat whosoever you want to and achieve whatever you want to. And as I said, that was a miracle. I learned a lot and I got permanent in that project field, and I started dealing with the multiple cross-functional activities with engineering and R&D team. Like, I used to work with the R&D team to get the concepts. I used to work with the manufacturing team to prove it, and I used to work with the execution marketing team to execute that project on production line and get out money out of it. Basically, you can see that three graphs or three stages which I have intentionally showing here. This is R&D innovation, which I have learned first step in the engineering or Whirlpool. Second step, how exactly project management and projects helps to grow it. And ultimately, in this world where business and corporate comes, money is on top of everything. And how and corporate makes money out of it. So it's a gradual journey for myself to grow from a book theoretical engineer to the business person who understand how exactly companies are making money. And that was not the end, and that is not the end. In fact, today also I realize there is one global. Whirlpool is not a India. Whirlpool work all across the region. In the coming slides we'll see in which region Whirlpool works, what works, and which products they live with and earn with. But just to clarify this point, I realized how companies making money inside the India. I jumped a step ahead and get inside the global business of Whirlpool. like what globally Whirlpool is selling, what is US people are asking, what is Brazil people are asking, what is European, Australian people are asking, what exactly they want from Whirlpool, what demand they have, what kind of refrigerators they are using, what kind of washers, what kind of air conditioning they are using. And that curiosity pulled me towards the next role, which is fourth role in my 5 years career, which is global corporation analyst and business communist analyst. So I just get out of the R&D now. I do have good enough knowledge, good enough background, good enough foundation built in a college and in initial year of experience in my Whirlpool, which is helping me to visualize what product is. And apart from that, I am gaining good enough commercial business and global strategic knowledge that helping me to understand what product to buy, in which, from which market and from which country is always cheaper to buy, and from which industry I have to get in very correlative with them. Let's take an example. Here I have listed the responsibilities, what I do in Whirlpool basically, and multiple people in this forum could eager to understand what exactly I do here in a Whirlpool. I do the business negotiations. For example, Whirlpool manufactures close to 40 lakh refrigerators per year and 12 lakh washing machines per year. So for refrigerator, we buy different materials. We buy steel, we buy chemicals, we buy electronics PCB boards, we buy compressor, condenser, and evaporator. Buying all those stuffs, we get inside the factory and we assemble it and sell to the market. So what we do, we buy the material as a purchase engineer. I personally buy a condenser, evaporator, heat exchangers, vacuum insulation panels, and walls. So what exactly? And there are multiple team members who is responsible for different parts. Few of them are responsible for chemicals, few of them are responsible for steels, and so on. So what I'll just focus myself inside the uh, cooling refrigeration systems. What I buy is a compressor, condenser, evaporator, and heat exchangers. I define from which country it's best option to buy, from which region, from Europe buying compressor is cheaper, or from China buying compressor is cheaper, or from Indonesia, from Australia, which country is cheap to buy for India so that we can earn maximum money. If I'm buying 1000 rupees raw material and I'm selling at 2000, so 1000 is upfront my profit excluding conversion cost. So that is what I define. I work in this field of procurement in Whirlpool. I spend a little bit more time here because that was the slide I have connected with. I want you to realize in every stage of your life you have to learn something. You have to define what you are learning so that you will not misplace yourself on the journey and you should move on. Now I'm getting inside my topic, what global industry wants. So before starting what global industry wants, I'll I'd like to explain what global industry is. Okay, so there are two type of industries what widely we define. One, we define multi-domestic industries. You can see if Haier is a refrigerator manufacturing company as well. They have their China origin, China manufacturing. They have India manufacturing. They have US, NAR, LAR, and Europe manufacturing locations. But that is a multi-domestic industry. They have their different company working in a different regions. Okay, they are not well integrated with each other centrally, so they work independently in a different region. But that is what not global industry is. As I mentioned and written over here, global industry is what homogeneous customer need all across the region, taking cost benefit and scale benefit all across the region, taking scale of economy, bringing towards the region, drive centrally, sitting one location in the world, take a knowledge from all across the world and build a refrigerator or a product which can be sold in any of the rural or urban location inside the globe. Okay, what is the type of industries, or you can say genre of industries there are in the corporate. There are energy industry, there are material industry, there are industrial manufacturing products, there are consumer discretionary industry, there are customer staples industry. So those are such kind of multiple industries genres are there, but we will focus basically on consumer discretionary section because there what I belongs to. We sell consumer durable products, which is refrigerators, washers, and multiple dishwashers, such kind of products. Whirlpool, because I belongs to that company, I know how they works. I'll just give you in which region Whirlpool is present. Whirlpool is present in North America. Whirlpool is present in Latin America. Whirlpool is present in EMEA, which is European countries all across the European territory. Asia, that means China, Indonesia, India, and those areas, Japan and Russia's. I am coming down here to the Australia where we sell our product, but we do not have operational activities sitting over here in Australia. So we are connected. NAR, this is North America, Latin America, EMEA, this is European countries and Asia. We are connected. We are working as a team. In some of the parts, I'll be responsible. Ajay Singh Chavan will be responsible for some of the product to buy in a NAR. Some of the person sitting in North America helping me to buy some products in India. And that is how global industry works. Okay. So working in such an integrated environment globally, for us, having a webinar is not a big deal because in day-to-day life, we are having calls and online conversation with our friends sitting in different continents all across the world. Now, this is how and what global industry is. Why that global industry will come to India. And here you can see right bottom corner, there is a graph. In 2015, I'm taking an example of home appliances only. I'll just give you a glance how home appliances industry in India have a tremendous scope and tremendous economic benefit throughout the 10 years or decades from now. So in 2015, 13% of homes in India had the refrigerator, and in 2011 it has become 15%. In 2016 it has become 27%. Looking at the global warming, looking at the incremental lifestyle deliciousness of a Indian society, usage of a refrigerator will definitely go up. So we have top 5 refrigerator manufacturing in India, and they are not able to meet a market's requirement. Whirlpool manufacture 40 lakhs. Put all 5 top manufacturing companies together in India, we manufacture close to 1.5 crore refrigerators per year, and still only 27% of the home has a refrigerator. And in 2026, we are expecting this penetration to be 47%. So this has to be doubled in next 10 years. This has to be doubles. That means if we are having 5 manufacturing companies today, it should be 10 and more than 10 manufacturing companies settled across the India to meet the Indian refrigerator requirement. We have huge population in India. We have huge demand in India. We have very reasonable manpower available in India. So looking at all those aspects, China, US, Europe, Brazil, Africa, Russia, Australia, New Zealand, those countries will try to come inside the India. And here that point comes what our government is telling, vocal for local. That means those companies will come in India. Those companies will start manufacturing in India. Those companies will start selling in India because they can see that huge demand grazing inside the India. Because India is a growing country, India is a second top populated country, and our lifestyle and deliciousness of our society is increasing day by day. The money earning capabilities of our society is increasing day by day. So in summary, demand in India will definitely go up. The manufacturing industries coming into India all across the global definitely going to be up. But here question comes, how to grab this opportunity? If manufacturing definitely gonna be happen in India, development gonna be happen in India, but that recruiters will not be from India. They will be from different region all across the global. You need to understand, you need to connect with that people from global. If let's say someone from US is setting up industry in India, take an example of Whirlpool. If Whirlpool has started one new manufacturing plant in Pune a few months back, they had to recruit a medium and top level authority management. No Indian people has say into it. The person who is getting recruited has to talk to the person sitting in the US. That person has to convince that US owner of that field that I am capable to doing such a things. I am capable to give you a profit out of this business in India, and then he got that position. That means knowing the Indian culture, knowing the Indian requirement is not enough, and that is what big organizations are doing now. I'm sure there are multiple sessions have been arranged and keep arranging our management and TPO team for you guys. I really request, it's a humble request to you, be intact with it. We take it seriously. Go to them and understand, ask silly question and understand what exactly industry wants, because this is a huge competition in a market. Top colleges are giving their students a lot, same as Anna Sahib Dange is also giving, but that students are eager to capture it. Their students are grasping it, implementing it, putting some efforts, and that is what, probably that is what I'm talking. When 5 years back I was in engineering and I personally did that, that's why I'm saying we failed to meet the requirements and absorb the water sinking inside the college. Actually absorb that water. That water is really very pure, cold, and healthy. If you absorb that water inside the college, you will be having no thirst throughout your tenure of a corporate, at least in initial days. Okay, so that is what my takeaway is. Intact with your TPO and your college professors, learn maximum what you can. Now, I'm going next to, I explained what global industry is and how that industry definitely going to come in India, and how that industry definitely going to build a demand of engineers in India in previous slides. Now I'm coming down. This is very generic and broader aspect. I think it's better I explain you because I can see such a aspects very closely. So I'll explain you glance of manufacturing industry, how that manufacturing industries works. Okay, so in left hand side you can see the supply chain management chain. Okay, this is very random picture which is coming when you which will come when you type in a Google. You can see this picture, but what is this picture is very transparent and clean understanding how exactly business works. We buy raw material from suppliers. Okay, we demand that supplier make that raw material and transfer it to us. We get multiple raw materials in our factory. We convert that raw materials into the finished product. Then we start distributing it. It goes to the distributors. It goes to the, we call it as a dealer. It goes to the retailer shop from where we buy, and from where customer captures it, customer buys it and gives the money to end to the manufacturer. Okay, so here you can see on right hand side top corner that chain of development. So between manufacturing and customer, whatever the section I am highlighting here with the pointer, in that particular section we work as a support function, which is a research and development, innovation, and procurement team. We define the strategy. I am in the team where we define the strategy. Okay, we give the strategy to the research team. Research team work on that strategy and customer feedbacks and build a product. They built a product, they analyze the product, whether this product can work in a market or not. If this product can work, how to design it. It's a broader level concept they design. If refrigerator should have two handles to open the door, one at right side, one at left side, because when you go to the refrigerator, your in your hand there must be one pot. So in second hand, if you have a pot, you will not be able to open the door. I'm just giving a vague concept. So you have to have two handles which we can open with the feet. So that kind of analytical research team gives input to the designer. Designer goes in a micro level of that design concept. They design part in CATIA, Creo, CAD, and they give it to the production. Production start producing it. So production just evaluate it and launch it for the production. After production, it goes to the distributor, retailer, and location. So this is how manufacturing cycle generally works. So this is a generic theory you must be learning inside your books. And trust me, guys, this is not and this is nothing different than what you are learning in industry. Just it's a matter of correlating. Go on the shop floor, you will get to know. Go inside the company for industrial visit, for training. You will realize there is nothing different than what you are learning inside the book. Just try to correlate it. Out of this whole chain of manufacturing, supply chain, and distribution till customer, what industry wants and do? They grow, they grow their demand, they grow their name, and they make a profit out of it. And nothing or no any industry works without profit. And you must keep this in mind. If you are a person and company, you want that company to give you a job, company definitely will build a business case against you. If they are paying you, let's say 1 lakh per month, they will definitely study you for 1 and 2 and 3 months whether are you giving that company back more than 1 lakh. If you are delivering less than 1 lakh, no one will perceive you for next month. They will just kick you out from the company. So make sure this is overall manufacturing chain for the product from where company is making profit. And for you, this is a similar chain, and you are in a phase of getting manufactured. Your TPO team will be responsible for distribute and to the retailer for the MNC or manufacturing companies. So just make your foundation very strong inside the college so that marketing and distribution team will help you to get sold to the companies very well and make yourself profitable. Now, coming to the main topic of our discussion, which is what industry wants. Initially, I'll start with some very basic aspects of it. What is the basic aspects I'm talking about is soft skills and communication skills. I am sitting here in a chair talking to you, and I hopefully can deliver what I mean, what I want to deliver, what I want to convey in efficient way to you, because I know how I can communicate. There are barriers because we are having this webinar online. Probably you can just see my screen, but you have to understand communication skill is topmost skill what you have to have in your mind. One of the research institute in Bangalore did a study what soft skills engineer should build in him while getting out or passed out from the college to make them ready to use for industry. And here are the list: communication skills, positive attitude, leadership, teamwork, decision making, and needs and other need of candidate and need of company and other. Okay, so if we compare what is the topmost skill among those, topmost skill is communication. What exactly communication means? And I'm damn sure there is some subjects what you are learning inside the college, and your TPO team is arranging multiple programs to improve your communication skill, and that is the very key aspect. Take those programs very seriously, guys, because unless and until you communicate what you have, what you want, and what you can do, no one will buy you. no one will even entertain you for the interviews unless and until you communicate yourself properly in a resume. Okay, so uh, just let's go point by point what communication is. I'll not go in depth of it because there are multiple professionals must be coming in your college, in our college, and they are teaching you. Just my message is very clear: listen them very cautiously, take them really very seriously, because competition is very tough inside the world. You are competing with multiple people sitting all across the world in USA, China, Russia, Germany, Japan, everywhere. So listening is a skill what you are doing right now, which is very good. But listening, that means connecting with the voice. You should be able to clearly differentiate what is useful for you. You have to correlate it with it. Like if I'm talking about some communication skills, you need to have that very much clarity in your mind that whatever communication I'm talking about is overall communication, not just a verbal communication. Using English words is not a communication. Using proper English word, using proper body language, eye contacts, clarity, confidence, empathy are multiple points are coming inside your mind. Should come inside your mind when I talk communication. So listening is that building a clarity in your own mind while listening, not just a listening. So that skill have to be improved. And once you start understanding while people talking, you will not interrupt anyone. You will interrupt only when you realize the person who is talking in front of you is not capable to listen. You will interrupt in a polite way. So it's a general theory that building a very good listening skill is one of the top priority in the communication skill. You should listen before you talk, and that is very clear. Second is a non-verbal communications. What is non-verbal communications are? Non-verbal communications are body language, eye contacts. Even written communications are also non-verbal communications. In case of written communications, you could see building your own resume, writing your own profile is sort of communication. You are communicating to the public, to the corporate, that how sellable you are. Trust me, there are multiple sessions are there online. Your college must be conducting it. Just try to connect the dot. Everybody is saying only one thing. Everybody is saying only one thing. Because I heard Nishander sir speaking before or introducing me. They have a very good skill to sell. They sold me in front of you. They built a sugar coated word in a way that you will have a curiosity that to listen what is this person to whom we will be talking to whom we'll be listening to. So this is a way to sell yourself. This is the way to sugarcoat yourself, and that is what a non-verbal communication is. You have to build yourself very curiously, and you should be able to sell yourself. If you are very good in technical analytics, just build your resume, your stories in a way that you can sell yourself as a technical expert. If you are very good in a communication skill, just keep your technical skill up to the mark and sell your communication skill in a very tremendous way, so that the person to whom you definitely gonna talk, or person who will take your interview, or after that person will be your boss in the industry, he will buy you as a communicator. He will give you a job as a communicator. If you are a technical expert, he will give you a job as a technical expert. So this can happen when you realize what you are strong in, and you will be able to communicate it properly through resume or through your verbal or non-verbal communications. That is what non-verbal communication is. Now I'm going to the clarity and conclusion. This is not very, like, it's a common sense, but which is not very common. This is very cheap comment I'm using, because this is a reality. Clarity and conclusion is not very common. When you are talking, when you are discussing, when you are studying, you should be clear and you should be conclusive that what you want. If you are in engineering, you should know why you are in engineering. if you're in mechanical engineering, electrical, civil, and computer science engineering, you should be clear that what the reason behind I'm here. So that clarity inside your life should be there, and in ultimate way, while you are having any discussion with anyone, you will be having that clarity in your vocal. So if someone asks you what you would like to eat, you will be specific, you will be very clear, this is the dish I would like to have. That means you should be clear. Like I personally observed in some of the people who has high or tremendous or very good enough communication skills are very much clear in their thoughts. No matter whether they are right or wrong, but they are clear. In case someone proves them wrong, they accept it very friendly. But before going to the discussion, they are clear what they want to tell, and what the conceptual clarity what they have. So this kind of clarity and conclusive nature you should have. I came across one debate, I must say here, that debate arranged by a team on WhatsApp groups. I see in every group there was 3 4 conclusive comments was really good. Like that person has summarized whole discussion in crisp 3 4 5 sentences, and they clearly mention this is the conclusion what we reached to after this long 10 15 20 minutes discussion. And this is what communication is, that is what clarity you should have, that is what conclusive mindset you should have. After that, friendliness, what I talked about, you should be very friendly, vocal, and extrovert while talking to the team. Confidence, which is very important, but unless and until you have good communication, like listening, non-verbal, and clarity in your thought process, you would not be able to confident. Confidence is solely dependent on your technical knowledge and communication skills. Empathy, it is inherent property. Most of us have that empathy inbuilt, but you have to surface it somehow over the period of time, but that time, skills, and experience teach you. Open mindedness, I don't mention, did not to mention that open mindedness because we are living in India, which is following the western countries footprint, and not just urban, rural areas also becoming very 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 mindful, which we call it as a mind open minded thought process. And college, like Anna Sahib Dange College, which was little bit different few years back. And if today I talk to any of the students studying there or teachers teaching there, I can easily understand what mindfulness and what open mindedness they do have developed. So respect and open mindedness, I need not to talk much about it, because this is what Anna Sahib Dange College will definitely give you, whether you want it or not. That will definitely be having with you throughout your life, with what you will run in last 4 years or this 4 years in engineering. Now, second is thought process, which is positive thought process. You can see tons of word on the right side of the slide: aspiring, focused, ambitious, self-disciplined, motivated, gorgeous, like generous, like god, goodwill, caring, graceful, self-confidence. You can see these are the word. Every word has their own meaning. Okay, I'll just pick 2 3 top words, and I'll just let you know what exactly thought process is, how it replicate in your positive attitude, and that is what interviewer and industry wants you to do. I'll take an example and explain it. Okay, so let's take an example of focused. Okay, so I'll give you an example, not to quote outside this conversation because this could be the competitive breach, but there was a multiple products getting launched by LG and Samsung, who is a competitor of Whirlpool, in last 2 3 years. Okay, there was one person, I'll not name it, but that person understood and realized that the Korean players inside the India having very good, building their very good market, they are building their good product portfolio, their name, and they definitely will going to beat Whirlpool in coming future in all across the regions. He personally went outside in the shops, he collected the data from the customer, what customer wants, They want cooling inside the refrigerator. They want ice. They want their vegetables to get preserved. They want their curd and buttermilk to get preserved, or they just want that refrigerator to look inside the house very beautiful and like suitable for their furnitures. He study, he built all the aspects irrespective of his job. He was not allocated for this job. He was not getting paid to do all those stuffs, but he did it because of personal interest, and he was focused towards the organization and a product and his knowledge. So after 8 months of efforts, making day in day out, he came up with one report and presented to the Mark Bitzer, who is the CEO of Whirlpool of India, that in India you have to build a refrigerator which has below 15,000 price and very good ice making capabilities. Like within minimum 15 minutes, ice should be there inside the freezer. And second very important point, it should be having very strong capability to withstand against fluctuating voltage and electric condition inside the home. And I must say, I'm not selling Whirlpool product here, but I'm just giving an example. You will find very low failure rate of Whirlpool refrigerator inside the field, because that guy before 4 years worked very strongly in the market, analyzed the market, gave the recommendation to the industry, and he became a hero. He became a hero. He had a tremendous growth inside the organization. He's sitting inside the US central corporate office and dealing with central business advisory team. But what payoff? That his focus, the same. That focus is not just a word. You should have to put everything inside it what you want, and that is what positive attitude is. Irrespective of money, irrespective of responsibilities, irrespective of time and efforts, you should be very clear and focused on the thing what you want. This is what thought process I'm talking about. I can give an example considering each and every topic what I have listed here, like gratefulness, self-confidence, motivated, but I don't want to invest much more time into it, because I do have some slides where I would like to invest further more time and give you a aspiration of global and industry. That is global industry outside the world. So it's very clear, unless and until you have good communication skills and then positive attitude. Positive attitude, that means you should have everything clear, focused, self-confident and motivated inside you. No one will urge to buy you by giving you a payment, giving you a salary. Now I'm going next to the leadership skills. Okay, so unless and until you have a good enough knowledge to handle the people, unless and until you do not have good enough technical and business knowledge, you will not get a senior position inside the organization, which is true, which is very true. But just handling people, just handling business and having a good position is not a leadership. Leadership is sitting on the chair where you are right now as a student, probably as an engineer going forward, as an intern going forward, as a teacher, as a professor, as a dean, as a HOD, anywhere. You should be having that ownership in yourself, that integrity, relation building and problem solving ability inside you, which you can build over the period of time, even in a student life, will help you to be a leader, self leader, and self declared leader for ourselves, not for the team. You should not have authority to sign, you should not have authority to order your colleagues, but you can earn that authority sitting on the same chair. I do have 7 more colleagues. To direct those colleagues, I should not be their manager. I can just be their colleague, and we collectively drive the team. So that is a leadership approach. You can clearly, I think, understand what I mean. Like, being on a top position is not a leadership. Sitting on the same chair, same position, and driving whole team together is a leadership. You need not to be a leader of the team by position. You have to be leader of the team by mind, and that ability you have to build over the period of time by learning multiple things in your life, like how to deal with the people, how to understand maturity of the people, maturity of the group, how to build a relation with your colleague, your friends, your seniors, your professors. And if you enter in a corporate office with your boss, senior boss, and colleagues sitting all across the industries. I'm taking an example. I'm here. I was talking to Nishander, I think, to yesterday, that I do a calls, letting 9:30, 10:30, 11 in night, because it's a daytime for US. But you know, when I join the call, those people will not make me realize this is very late night joining for me. They just admire me. They appreciate me that I'm putting a efforts and joining meetings at night. Okay, so end of that meeting at 12:30, I never ever feel sorry. I never ever feel frustrated, and the reason is very simple, because those people had a skill of leadership to make me attend a meeting in night without making me frustrated. And that is a leadership skill I can talk about. So that all skills will come under the grasp. Again, your college and our college will help you to grasp it, but just don't lose the sync. Get it with it, get with it, and learn it till you have a phase of learning. Industry is not that good to give you a salary and teach you. No one will give you a salary and teach you. They will learn, they will see, they will understand you in an interview. If you find capable, they will let you in. Otherwise they will kick you outside. And if they let you in, this is not end of story. They will monitor you for 1, 2, 3, 4 months. If you will keep learning, and if you fail to deliver your amount more than the amount you salary you are getting, they will kick you out. It's very simple theory for industry. If you are getting some money, you should deliver more than that money to the industry, and you are being prepared inside the college to be that much of productive. Now, uh, this is sort of last slide. It's a lengthy conversation I think we had, but this is the last slide of this conversation. And I think we will just start with the different aspects of it. It's a theoretical, I would say there are three different sections you can see. It's a theoretical and practical synchronization, building global knowledge, think, plan, execute, calibrate, and think. This is the third section of it. I'll start with the theoretical and practical synchronization. Okay, I'll give you my example. When I was in engineering, I was not good student, and I should confess that, and I should say sorry to my professors, because I was not that good what they deserve a students to be. But I realized when I entered inside the industry that I should have learned in a college, I would be in a best position than where I am right now. So what I should have learned in the college? I should have learned in the college that is what synchronization between theoretical and practical knowledge. You can see it's a funny meme I came across on WhatsApp and Facebook. What expectation of engineering projects team wants to build a project, and what reality they ends up with. This looks funny, but this is a true reality of the world. And reason is very simple. Okay,
बोल शुभम.
writing on the note.
हा, अरे आपली बीएडची मुलं जॉईन व्हालीत का नाही काय?
Hello.
बरं,
So
तू आणि तुझ्या लेवलला आणि कुठले ग्रुप असतील पटपट सांग. झालं एक 10 मिनिटं सेशन आहे फक्त, 10-15 मिनिटं सेशन राहिलं फक्त.
Nishandra, I think you are not on mute.
Yes.
So you can say this is a bike what you theoretically like to build. Like you are sitting on the notebook, you can understand this is a theory of fluid mechanics, this is a theory of thermodynamics, this is a theory of IC engine, automotive, and I can build a bike. No, You just think it, you assume a big bike as your project, but end up with cycle because you do not know the synchronization between practical and theoretical knowledge. So how to build it? And industry really wants this. Okay, they will definitely ask you if you'll sit. I'll just break a question paper for interview for a Whirlpool to you, that they will ask you what is the importance of compressor inside the refrigeration system. Okay, when someone strike this question to you, you will not realize it. Okay, you must be knowing all the theoretical understanding of cycle, why that compressor is important, but practically you would not be able to explain. Reality is very simple. To create a pressure difference across the seal system is the main function of compressor. To work, to let refrigeration system work, you have to build a higher pressure inside the condenser, you have to build lower pressure inside the evaporator, and that is the only function what compressor do in a refrigeration system. So this is very simple answer. Okay, it's a very simple, straight and clear cut answer. You will not be able to give if you fail to synchronize your theoretical and practical knowledge. So that is what I am explaining in this particular pillar. So when and how to build it, how to build that synchronization, you should have be curious. Okay, I remember Urunkar sir was there when I was in second year, and he asked one simple question. In winter, in winter, for the car glass shield, you can see a moisture getting accumulated outside the surface. What is this? Why it is getting accumulated? Okay, so that was a very simple and generic curious question. I went across that question. I asked multiple people. I studied, I saw on YouTube, but no one would be able to give me an answer. I get back to I think Ahankari sir. That time he was the HOD, and I asked him that, sir, I did not find the answer for this question. Why liquid is or moisture is getting accumulated outside the windshield of a car in winter morning? He explained me what is relative humidity. The ability of air at specific temperature to keep absorbed or dissolve the humidity inside it. As temperature goes down, that air will start releasing the humidity because capability to absorb that moisture will get reduced with respect to the temperature. And as soon as you find the surface which is colder and low specific heat surface, he will release that humidity outside the glass or anywhere. So that was the simple question, and that was a practical implication. That one answer helped me to realize or correlate practical usage of thermodynamics and heat ventilation and air conditioning with respect to the book knowledge. So it's a simple theory. Ask, be curious, and ask the stupid questions to your seniors, to your colleagues, to your professors, or someone who understand better subject than you. Next point is go on the floor. Go on the floor, that means have maximum industrial visit. Go and talk to daily wage workers inside the factory, helpers inside the factory. Talk to machine operators, talk to supervisors, managers, senior managers, and leaders. And I request in our professors and TPO team, you are putting tremendous efforts towards the campus accommodations. But I request, and you must be putting it, is just a request from my side. If you are having 70 or 75 companies, let's say big number, for example 70-75 companies you are asking to come inside your college for a campus, 3 times of that company should leaders give lectures or webinars in your college. If you arrange close to 200 lectures from the topmost industrial position holders, then your student will be, or our students will be capable enough or get motivated enough to find their place inside the corporate. So it's a simple theory. Teach more, feed less. Let's do not feed by spoon. Teach more, let them eat by themselves. That is the simple theory what I understood inside this or during this 5 years tenure. And that's third point and last point is don't move ahead without satisfaction. That means don't give up. Anyway, don't give up. Keep working, keep learning, and don't give up. Now, this is what theoretical and practical synchronization is. I'm coming to the building knowledge and understanding industrial needs. And I would like to mention one very important point here. Most of people or our students coming outside the engineering colleges nowadays do not know the reason behind the value of rupees against USD. Why that amount is higher than USD. Most of the people inside the coming outside the college do not know which are the top 5 economies in the world. I don't know, but how many of you know about it? Because we are lagging behind the global knowledge. Understand the global key aspects. Understand what exactly going out inside the whole globe. Which technology on which industries, different countries, colleges, universities, and students are working on. I'm taking an example of global warming. You know, global warming is a very important and key aspect of it. But do you realize that which country is leading to build a solution against global warming? And don't you think that company will work on the global warming and find a very good solution will be the superpower in the world in coming 10 years? It's very simple. Yes, whosoever work and find a proper solution against the global warming in coming 10 years, that country will be the superpower. This is a thought process. This is a knowledge what we are building. I'm giving a vague example. Japan is working on ozone layer depletion potential reduction gas. It's very fine tuned research what they are working on. They are investing 4 times money than our ISRO. Okay, we are investing in ISRO and 4 times amount than what you invest in ISRO to define or to research on ozone layer depletion potential reduction gas. That gas will fill the voids or dogs get created inside the ozone layer. That is a simple, like, if you keep studying, if you keep understanding, you will build a interest inside you and you will be able to connect with global. And that is what I was talking about. Build a global knowledge. What Iran is doing, why oil prices are in negative. I'm not saying, and it is not expected out of you to understand whole global economy in a day or in a 4 or 3 years at your age. But you should be knowing very key aspects and global assets about it. I'll talk about second is which I already talked about strength and limitations of different countries. As I told you, like Iran has oil but do not have water. India don't have oil, water, but India do have manpower. China do have a technology. US do have a money. So every country has their own limitation and strength, and you should know. You should know a broader aspect of it. Europe has very good organizational structure. US has very good money power. China has very good technological advantage. India has very good manpower advantage. So every country has their own strengths and parallelly weaknesses. So we should know that top level global aspects. When you sit in the interview, if someone from US, China, Europe, and that will definitely happen. If you go to the multinational company for the interview, your second or third round definitely will be with one of the global colleague. Okay, and you should know what country they are belongs to and what is the key benefits and key limitation and strength of that country. Third one important point is stay connected, be observant, and for major global movements. As I said, current major global movement is coronavirus, COVID-19. Because reason why we are talking, it's unfortunate that we need to wait coronavirus to come, ask us to sit inside the home and conduct the webinar. But hopefully this is very good learning for us. Let's not wait for coronavirus to come and arrange the webinar. Keep arranging, keep calling multiple people in different genres to understand. Now I'm coming back to the topic that COVID-19 is the current affair and global movement. I saw boycott China. I don't know, but we are online, so I will not ask direct questions to you. But how many of you or most of you will would have thinking that boycotting China is the only option we have to fight against the China and to build our economy? So to be fair, to be honest, not possible. I saw the movement where people are uninstalling Chinese app outside their mobile, but what mobile they are using is from China. So realize the need of that country. That country, if I talk about the refrigerator manufacturing, if China stops selling compressors to India, only 10% of refrigerator can be getting manufactured. So about 1.5 crore, only 15 lakh refrigerator will get manufactured. Rest people will start searching for the refrigerator but will not available in the market. So this is what dependency we have with China. That means you say, you cannot say that can we independent. Yes, but over the period of time, government is working on it. Government is driving be vocal for local. Government is imposing high income import duties on import materials. So these are activities what government is doing, and you don't have to give a solution. You have to be in touch with it. You have to be understand. If someone says boycott China, you have to realize the granularity of it. Can 1 2 3 4 days are enough to boycott China? Can't we connect with China? Can't we grow with China? Because China is close to $17 trillion economy and India is $2.5 trillion economy. They are way bigger than us. So wiping them out is not the option. Leaving them, living with them, growing with them, and if they are threatening, wiping them out is the option. So that as an engineer, you should be understanding those aspects inside you. So just someone speaking something, that means following them. It's not the way how engineers should work. And this is what now corporate wants. You should be having your own understanding. You should be pursuing your own thought process. And if someone counters you, you should be countering them. And if you get convinced with them, accepting you are wrong is what industry wants from you. Now, I'm going my last pillar of today's conversation is think, plan, execute, calibrate, and think. I'm very clear. You, as I earlier mentioned, and even Suhail sir mentioned that you are going through multiple chain of events and webinars since last few days, and you will be getting into multiple events in the future as well. You will find multiple people talking about multiple genres. Someone will talk about government exams, someone will talk about industry, someone will talk about you could say competition exams in public sector, someone will talk about competition exam in a technical sector. You should be very clear what you want and go to the person who is expert into it. I'm taking an example. If someone asks me whether you want to be a government servant today, I'll say no. Even though someone pay me more than today what I'm getting, I'll not definitely not go there, because I do have a plan to grow myself in a corporate. Okay, I'm building my knowledge. I thought myself in somewhere in a top position within next coming years, and that is what I know. Okay, so I knew what I want. So I request you to understand exactly what you want. You really want to be a public sector competitive leader? If you really want to be a corporate guy, if you really want to be an entrepreneur, and way and build your skills in that way, build your knowledge in that way. Once you understand what you want, you will start capturing knowledge in that direction. Once you get the knowledge, you can plan it. Let's say I'm taking an example of a corporate because I am working in there. In second year, you will understand you want to be a CEO of a company. Okay, any CEO or vice president of a company. You will realize without MBA, you would not be able to get the position, because MBA knowledge is very crucial to get into that position. So you will start building a plan of preparation of MBA from second year of engineering. You will pursue CAT GMAT in last year of engineering. Continue to that, you will do a pick a best college, you will do your MBA, and you will join as a deputy manager or manager in a corporate world. So you will be having clear cut plan inside your mind. So unless and until you don't know what you want, you will not be able to build the plan. So I have intentionally chained up. Understand what you want. Next, build a knowledge in that direction. Whatever the plan you have, start to execute that plan. If you are in third year and you realize you will not be able to crack a GMAT, you just calibrate it. Okay, I need to study further one year further, and I have to probably need to take a break of 1 year after engineering. I have to prepare for MBA, and then I'll pursue MBA. So that will be the calibration with respect to plan. It's fine, it's always fine to have a fine tuning adjustment your plan, but it's not okay to work without plan. Trust me guys, world is not ready for raw engineers. You are diamonds. You have to be get very well polished. Your college, our faculties are good enough. Our infrastructure is good enough to polish you. Don't let yourself to skip the process of polishing. Otherwise, industry will throw you in a trash. Sitting in this position, I have a visibility for Indian uh, opportunities of engineers in India. There are tons of opportunities for only good engineers, because I also can see working engineers on the helper position if they will not get or let themselves polish inside the engineering college. With this harsh thought, I'll end with the sweet note that enjoy the journey. This is very important. You can see happiness is enjoyment, not just your achievement. You will keep achieving the things, you will keep struggling, you will keep achieving, you will keep struggling, again you will keep achieving, but the journey should be joyful. The note is whistle while you work. मैं बोल रहा हूँ, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आप सीटियां मारते फिरो कॉलेज में, बट whistle while you work means enjoy every day of your learning and your working. So I think I have covered what I had in my mind for 1 hour probably. So I'll open myself for the question. So let me check whether we do have something in the chat. Nishanda sir, could you please help me to understand whether is any questions out there in the chat?
Yes, sir. Dear students, you have any query, please ask. Dear students, any query, please free to ask.
Yes, I gave my 15-20 minutes open, friends, to just let you know that I am same as you today, but I do have some 2-3 years more understanding about the industry. As I mentioned in the slides, you can have any silly questions about the industry. You can ask anything. You can ask in Hindi, you can ask in Marathi, you can ask in any language, but just please ask any question. Any silly question is welcome. But I request you, because I can understand the urge of your professors, my seniors, juniors, and colleagues. We want, or they want you to make ready for the industry. And if you have any doubt, just be open and ask the questions. Mm, I don't think student have a question. Nishanda sir, do you have any comments or suggestions out of this conversation?
Sir, very good conversation, sir. I summarized a few points, sir. You told us some amazing figures like 40 lakh refrigerators and the 12 lakh washing machines. They are also very informative also with us, sir. This is very informative information. Also, sir, you mentioned the three very important pillars. That is the theoretical and the practical synchronization is the very important. As the very the one you figure shows that very humorous, sir. Actually, students expected, and at the end, what the project was done. Okay, then, sir, we also we mentioned the few keywords like think, plan, execute, the collaborate, and the think. That the very needs, sir. And also the sir, you mentioned the build global knowledge and the understand the industrial needs. So, and the last one is the enjoy the journey. Is very important, sir, for all of us students. Any queries? Please ask. Free to ask. No issues.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So my name is Mayur Chogle and I'm from second year mechanical. So my question is that as our Prime Minister told that 1,000 companies will be coming in India to invest or manufacture various products. Sir, at your point, what do you think that the companies will be related to mechanical engineering? Or what are the job opportunities for mechanical engineers to get employment?
Okay, very good and well expected question, Mayur. Okay, thank you, because everybody sitting inside this conversation, some of my friends are also joined. They also must be having this curiosity in their mind. I'm not expert in it, but I can give you a glance what I understood about this declaration from Prime Minister. Okay, they're very like attractive slogan, being vocal for local, and the geo global political movements what is happening, economic political movements that's happening. People are trying to get out of China, and addition to that, as I mentioned, India is very good manufacturing sectors. They wants to come inside the India because they can produce in India and they can sell in India. These openings, as you told, will be there tremendously in coming years, but not just for mechanicals. I'm taking an example. Okay, today there is a big sector, that is people contact for the health organization, is working on Europe and US. They are building a strong software which can interlink artificially to the people. Like Europe, let's say Italy is the prime hotspot for the coronavirus, and Italy wants to give a software to the people inside their country so that they can track that software. They can understand from where to where this person has traveled in since last 1 week, whether they had a cough, whether they had a cold, whether they had a temperature, blood pressure, or any of the health issues. And that one software can track all those things. Do you think that building that software is easy? No, it's very tough to build it. They do not have enough manpower and talent and knowledge to build that software. They will outsource it. They will outsource from India. They will outsource from China. And such kind of jobs will come inside the India. I'm taking second example as a mechanical. That was what I talked about software engineering. Now I'll talk about the mechanical engineering. You know how BS4, BS6, and BS8 defines, how they define the energy norms. You must have seen refrigerator with 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, and 5 star. How they define? It define on the carbon percentage what that country is creating. Let's say India is using 1 million micro trains of wattage electricity per year. Okay, that means they are developing some amount of carbon footprints on the world. Okay, so you know that world organization impose India to reduce that carbon percentage. So reduce that carbon percentage footprints in India. India has to increase the strength of regulation. They have to increase electricity consumption. They have reduce the electricity consumption. They have to launch BS6. They have to launch multiple products which are less energy consuming, like uh, e-motors, e-toggles, e-generations, and solar powers and hydroelectric powers. So this kind of companies will start coming inside the India after the coronavirus effect and being vocal for local campaigning, because government is giving most of the reliefs to industries come inside the India, rather importing the material, come in India, manufacture in India and sell in India. Don't manufacturing outside the India and sell inside the India. We will charge more money. Indian government will charge more money. Government is saying come inside the India, manufacture and sell. We don't have any issue. Even for a Chinese company, they are saying come inside India, manufacture and sell. We don't have any doubt. But don't manufacture in China and sell in India. So that is what will create a tremendous opportunities for mechanical engineering. But Mayur and team, I am again reinforcing, these openings will only be available for the engineer who is curious, who is well polished and ready to sell for the corporate, not who is raw engineers coming out just for the sake of being engineer. Thank you very much for the question, Mayur, and I hope I answered your question.
Sir,
Yes.
there's another question from Shubham Raut. Sir, I want to join industry in design department. So what should I start to learn now?
Okay, again, same and expected question as I said, because I have explained myself being worked as a research and development engineer in refrigeration section. Okay, so friends, understand, again, industry wants returns. What industry do as a designer? Industry design the product. Industry understand customer needs. Industry build a product in a same way which can be sellable or usable for the customers, and industry build money out of it. So building a product design is what industry wants. So very simple steps to design the product. You should be aware about the basic concepts of a design. Let's say let's say if you are talking about thermodynamics, then you should be very much aware about the refrigeration and air conditioning system. If you are interested in automotive, you should be having very good hold on strength of material, theory of machines, and machine drawings and softwares. So understand what you are studying thoroughly, practically, going into the root of it. For example, if you are studying stress strain curve, you should understand reason behind every point, reason behind elastic limit, upper yield point, lower yield point, fracture point, everything. This is the first aspect. Learn and understand practically what you are learning. Second, what is advanced industries using? Industries using CATIA, industries using Unigraphics, industries using multiple softwares in analysis as well. So be ready to learn or start learning different softwares for design and simulation. Okay, so first, building your own basics very strong. Second, understand advanced drafting and analysis software. And third, most important, soft skill communication skills, which can bring you to the best position inside the industry. And trust me, there are multiple designers industry wants. Industry are keeping 10, 10, 15 positions open for one year because they did not get a good design engineers. So trust me, if you build all those skills what I talked about, you will get a upfront design engineering job immediately inside the well reputed industries. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Another question is last question.
Yes, sure.
Good evening, sir. Will this corona pandemic outbreak will affect employee hiring process for next 2 to 3 years?
Yes. Who asked this question? May I know the name?
Momin, sir.
Okay. Okay, Mumin. This is a question what not even Ajay can answer easily, because not government, not corporate, no one inside the India, not inside the world is aware how definitely economy and corporate going to react to this situation, because this is once in a, not just a decade, once in 100 year situation came up. But trust me, if you someone from you follow, or if you are not following, start following the share market updates for India, that will help you. I'm not asking you to gamble by the money, I'm asking you to understand how that share market is going up, how share market is going down, which company got the returns, which company did not get the returns. Because you can easily realize, my friends, pharmaceutical and medical equipment industry is still growing up. There is no any dip inside the market. But automotive and some of the movie theater and mall industries or infrastructure industries going down. So as those industries are going down, the requirement of employees also going down. But assuming in coming 5 4 6 months corona will get wiped out from the India or in world, the demand.
Hello, sir. Sound is breaking, sir. Hello, Ajay, sir.
Every okay, sorry, am I audible now?
Yes, now audible.
So that demand, again I was talking about that demand after coronavirus will go up, and again that requirement of engineer and position will go up. When recession happens, very important is to learn, and this is good part of you, my friends. You are learning. When recession will get over, you will be out as an engineer, and industry wants the engineer because demand will be increasing. So you will get out from the college at the time when industry will be having.
Hello, Ajay, sir. Sound is interrupted.
Is it fine now?
Now fine, sir. Now fine.
So I'm telling, immediately within next 4 5 6 months will not grow, but after 6 months or after 7 8 months, definitely the requirement and recruitment process will again start, and in faster than what we used to have in last 1 year.
Okay, thank you, sir. Hello, Sayed, sir. Sayed, sir, is here. Sayed, sir. Okay, Ajay, sir, shall we conclude today's session now?
Perfect. Go ahead and we can conclude it. And thank you very much, guys, for attending this session, listening my boring speech for so long.
No,
Thank
sir.
you very much
No,
for
no,
that.
sir. The last 1.5 hours, you continuously deliver lecture. Thank you, sir, for your sharing your precious knowledge and experience with us. You really threw a light on the darkest corners of our mind. Truly, we are enlightened today, sir. On behalf of our sincere students, I assure you that we will definitely work on the ideas you put before us. And the very important keyword, you students will start to synchronize the theory and practical is very the today's session is a very important session by you, sir. Your presence was great privilege for ADCT. We would be glad to have you again with us, sir. Thank you all the my team TPC, Sayed sir, HOD Wagmode sir, for helping us to arrange such a beautiful session. Thank you dignitaries for your valuable time, and sincere thanks to all the students who picked this opportunity, even being in an adversity. You are the true warriors, and the world after Corona needs visionary people like you. Thank you and have a good day. Thank you, sir. Dear students, now I declare the session is over. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, sir, for inviting me. Thank you. Bye bye.